and Robbo.
Streaming across the globe, Ben Norris, Rob McKnight, and David Robinson.
Ben, Rob and Robbo. News, reviews, entertainment news. It's the Ben, Rob and Robbo. Ben, Rob and Robbo Show. Ben, Rob and Robbo Show.
Welcome to the Ben, Rob and Robbo Show. Here's Rob McKnight.
Oh, wasn't it fantastic? Hello and welcome to Eye on Big Brother, a presentation of the Ben, Rob and Robbo Show. Warning, warning, warning. This presentation contains spoilers about the very first episode of Big Brother for 2020, including information on who was evicted. As always, Ben Norris and David Robinson are with me, but Reggie is missing in action tonight. She'll be back tomorrow. Robbo, you watched the first episode earlier today, and I can't wait to hear your thoughts, but there's plenty of time to discuss it. Just give me an overall sense of how you're feeling.
An absolute bloody cracker. That's what I'll say. An absolute bloody cracker. I wasn't too keen on seeing it before, but this was an absolute bloody cracker. I think it's great. I can't wait to talk about this. And I can't wait to talk about the housemates, because we were talking earlier on other parts of the show where I thought it was, kind of lame, kind of bland, kind of, we've seen these people before. Absolutely not. These are very different people. I absolutely love and adore some of them, not all of them.
Let's get to that in a moment.
But I'm very excited about it. Yeah.
We have a format, but we're all very excited. We're like giddy schoolgirls, I can't tell you. Ben, it's obviously very different this year, having it all been recorded. But tell me, what was it like the first night you entered the house?
Well, oddly enough, for me, I didn't go into the show on the first episode. I actually came in on episode 3. They just kept lying to me and telling me different stories. And eventually I was plopped into the house at 12:01 in the middle of the night. I think most of the housemates were exhausted from their first 3 days. And they thought, who is this guy? And I kind of entered the house and was a bit outrageous.
You would have annoyed them in the slightest, Ben, at 12:01 in the morning.
Look, let me just tell you that I annoy people at all times of the day, but I particularly was annoying at that point. I came in with a bit of a blast because I called the most popular housemate a bogan and asked him if he was wearing a wig. So, look, I could tell you one thing, and that is that I could smell the Big Brother house. I felt the nostalgia. It felt like my Big Brother house. And the weird thing about it, sorry, just to let you know, the Big Brother house smells like Glen 20. But interestingly enough, it felt like that was my house in some weird way, even though it's in a completely different location. So what I'm getting at is I feel like this Big Brother is in the canon, which means that it is a part of the history of Big Brother that we love. Robbo, I noticed that you said that you didn't like the show before. Was there something that I did?
No, I promise, Ben. And can I say quickly, we missed you on the show today, so we hope you had a nice rest. It was nice to have you back here today. Truly, I really mean it. We love Jo Casamento; she's a star, but we missed our
For those people who don't know what we're talking about, Robbo's talking about the Ben, Rob and Robbo Show, but we can talk about that on tomorrow's show that streams live at 1 o'clock. But if you want to join this conversation about Big Brother, you can do so using the BRR Show hashtag on Twitter or by going to facebook.com/BRR Show. We want to hear your comments, or you might have a question for the panel. We'll get to all that a little later. In the meantime, let's meet tonight's special guest. Ben Zabel was in the 2013 edition of Big Brother and quickly became a fan favourite and even managed to carve out his own brand, becoming known as Ben from Brisbane. And that's where he joins us from now. Hello, Ben.
Yay. Oh, we can't hear him yet.
That's the button I was trying to push.
Oh, can you hear me
Hi,
now?
Ben.
Gotcha, Ben. Hello, Ben.
You don't want to miss a minute of this. Hi, Robbo.
No.
I'm coming to you live from my kitchen.
Fabulous.
And it looks amazing, Ben.
It's because I don't use it. It's my most unused room in the house.
Is that why it's clean?
It's always clean. And I've been doing all of these Zoom meetings and Microsoft Teams stuff lately. And you probably can't see it because of the logo, but in my oven, I store books. And I had everyone commenting at our meeting.
That logo now.
It's okay. I've got books. Hang on. But I took the books out because everyone kept mentioning them, so I put in a fake cook chook instead.
And what I love is that's such a great visual gag for the people listening on the audio podcast. So that's going to be great for them.
Sorry, Ben, can I ask you, do you remember the last big group of people who burned books? Is that what you're trying to align?
Do you know,
that's exactly what I was going for. Yeah.
No, I know you weren't.
Do you know there is so much to love about you, Ben, but I especially love the way you handled this moment from your season of Big Brother.
Apparently, I'm feeding information to you. I can't.
Can we talk about trust for a second?
Shut up.
What? Because who's going to hear the other 9 people that live here?
I'm in the pool. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Oh my God, Drew is so hot. What's going on?
I didn't know what to do.
I think I
just like,
Yeah, I kind of got caught here. I'm so sorry. I didn't know kind of whether just to... I didn't know whether to kind of just...
oh, yeah, I bet you bloody cares.
I didn't...
What was hilarious, you had so many awkward moments with those two, but you seem to have lots of awkward moments like that.
My whole life has been awkward. You know, that awkward moment between birth and death. You know, I just I had a lot of awkward moments in the house. That's quite funny with that clip because everyone was very comfortable going in the pool, but I didn't enjoy swimming, and I, like in my personal life, I'll have a shower, I'll never have a bath. I don't like being in bodies of water, and I was born in Redcliffe and we always went to the beach and I would just be like, I'll just sit on the sand. And so I sort of thought I'll get used to going into the pool by going in by myself at night time, because I knew Big Brother wouldn't film or show that because there's no entertainment value in just someone being in the pool. And then Tully and Drew came out and had a quarrel, and it was terrible. And then after that, I then went to fill up my drink bottle because the water. I'm obsessed with having 3 litres of water a day. It's this thing. If I don't have 3 litres of water a day, I go nuts. And so I came out to fill up my water bottle, and they were having another fight, and I came in on that as well. So
it was.
You know, Ben, I was just going to say to you that, look, I think my worst nightmare from finishing the series in 2012 was that someone would go and outdo me. And it was so funny because Alex Mavridakis, who produced that, said, I found someone amazing into the next series, and he's really amazing, and his name is Ben. And I thought, oh my God, this is so frustrating, because instantly by the time, I think episode 1, when you went into that show, you just won people over in a way that was like nobody that had ever been on Big Brother before. And I tweeted, which went viral. I said, every year Big Brother needs a housemate named Ben to win the show. So I was rooting for you right from the start. And Alex was so right by saying you were amazing. Phenomenal.
You're very sweet to say that. And I have to say, Alex saw something in me that very few school teachers or employers have seen before or since. You know what I mean? He really saw something in me that that was he thought was worth showing. It's funny you mention about the Bens, with the name, because they spoke to me right up until, I guess, the promotional material about using my middle name, which is it's Patrick. But
oh wow, you should have been Patrick.
I could have been Pat. But they were going to do that, and then I said, "Can I just make up a name?" Because I always, when I was born, I was called Sebastian. I was called Seb, and then because my sister is Susan and my brother is Stephen, and Mum called me Sebastian. But then no one liked it, and they got rid of it. And I thought, well, maybe I can be Sebastian now, but it never happened. But
I'm glad though that Ben, I'm so glad that they didn't change your name, because everyone that you worked with loved you, and you were so loved with your jobs that you have, and it would have been strange not to carry on the name. And I will say to you, 7 years later, that you carried on the name Ben extremely well, and I couldn't have been more proud.
God.
I thought you were very good. I don't know what happened to all the money that I spent on voting for you to win. I still think that Australia must have But I will just finally ask you, do you think the fact that you had the name Ben, did you ever think that maybe held you back?
Yeah,
do you think they didn't let...
Yeah, a little. I remember being in lockdown. I mean, I didn't go in to win. I know, like, there's not a backbencher in Parliament that doesn't think they can be Prime Minister, and there's not a housemate that goes into the House that doesn't think that they can kind of win. But I remember being in lockdown, and I said to our minder, our carer, who I still keep in contact with, she gave me a stone that I keep. She's so sweet. I remember saying to her and my mum, I said, I won't win because you won't have two gay guys called Benjamin win in a row, which is kind of ridiculous because you can have...
Why not?
Well, exactly. Well, I agree because, in politics you can have one white guy after another white guy kind of be Prime Minister or whatever. But do you know what I mean? But just when it comes to stuff like this, people tend to want to mix it up a little bit. I never thought that I would win, but that freed me up in a way just to kind of just be myself in there. Not that I could have been anything else.
Which you were, and you were fantastic, and that's why you've had a media career and people have loved you. But you know what? It's time to talk about the new series of Big Brother. And after almost a year of planning, Big Brother is finally back, this time on Channel 7, in case you didn't know. What we saw tonight was a very different Big Brother, but it somehow still managed to feel like an old friend. Robbo, I have to say, I enjoyed this version far more than the Channel 9 version. Sorry to the two Bens who appeared on the Channel 9 version, but what did you think?
We've got to talk about this because I've got to be honest here. I wasn't excited about this. I wasn't interested in it. I was only on this podcast because I thought it might make some money. But now, having watched the episode, I thought it was an absolute bloody cracker. I loved it. I love the way that they integrated the housemates. I love the fact that we didn't have this massive kind of event at the beginning where we, met every single housemate. It was gradually shown to us who they were. This is a cracker of an episode, and this is almost, I'm going to say, textbook example of how you do a reboot. This was an absolute bloody cracker. It was wonderful. It was a great thing. It was well produced. It's well shot. Sonia Kruger is amazing. We always knew that. It's well produced. There seems to be quite good casting here. Obviously, at the end of the episode, we saw some intruders there, which I can't wait to see. This was textbook. This was wonderful.
Ben from Brisbane, what did you think of the challenges? I didn't think I'd like the challenge, but I actually really enjoyed that component of the show. Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, I liked it. It's pretty, like, it's intense, those challenges. Like I used to find the previous challenges, I guess Friday Night Games type challenges, it always felt like an amateur version of It's a Knockout. Do you know what I mean? And I really like that. I kept waiting for Billy J to come out and, for Lisa Curry Kenny to blow the horn or whatever, This felt really intense. I would not want to do that.
No.
It felt really lean and mean and competitive, and it wasn't as novelty driven. But that kind of went with the show for me.
It's
the show felt
format.
a lot serious. Yeah, I kind of liked it.
I think it's important to talk about this, and that was that, watching Australia's reaction to this on social media tonight, I think it was quite a mixed reaction. And I think that for some people, they felt that it was too fast paced. I have to be really honest with this. And I felt like watching the first episode felt like I'd been watching the show for a lot longer. I felt like the relationships that I had with these housemates at this stage of the game was also already very potent. Like, even though it was fast paced, I definitely was picking who I liked and who I didn't like. And then the challenge was there, even though it felt very Survivor-esque and it was all action-packed, I felt like this episode brought back all of the nostalgia of what I love about Big Brother in one big launch episode. And I have to say, Ben, I think that your episode was the only other one that I think, because it included all the Big Brothers from around the world as it opened. That season had a really good open as well. And I'll never forget standing on the stage and watching you giggle and laugh and snort on stage with Sonia Kruger. I'll never forget it in my life because I've never seen anyone like you in my life. But interestingly enough, Ben, how do you think that you would have gone with those housemates? Because that's what I would love to see. I'd love to see you go back into the show, to be honest. But how do you think you would have gone with these set of housemates?
Well, two things. It'd be funny to go back into the show because I got to 2013, then I got to go in as a guest in 2014 to go into the presidential suite with and I've had all these Big Brother fanatics that know all about the show saying, "Oh, if you went in this, you'd be one of the first to go in all three." But no, they're real scary. They're really intense and if I sort of want to be around sort of intense people with strong personalities, I have an office job. I could just go to that. You know what I mean? It's kind of I work with people like that. I mean, it's really they're there to win. I didn't see a lot of
people. We're going to get to strategy. We're going to get to strategy a little later.
What about the journey?
Ben Norris, what I quickly wanted to ask you, you have been across a lot of aspects about this new format. We've done a lot of reporting on the TV Black Box website. How did it feel watching the first episode, even with all the knowledge you had?
Well, look, I was really nervous and I was 100% not sold on the show. And then the interesting thing was I was lucky enough to watch it with I'm going to bear with me while I tell this long, boring story, but but I watched it with my two best girlfriends that I watched the first 7 seasons of Big Brother with. We always watched it together. We sat on the couch and we had a laugh and we would root for the people that we loved. And then all of a sudden it was my friend's 40th birthday on Saturday. I got to watch the episode with them and it felt like this amazing feeling of Big Brother. It felt to me more like this Channel 7 version was more like the Channel 10 one and less like the Channel 9 one, which is fine by me because I really liked both of them. But look, from a perspective of being in the old format and now watching this is a very different show.
Yes.
It's very different while still having a lot of those key elements that we adore about the show. So I think, that's kind of how I feel. I just felt really excited watching it and I felt like I was involved.
Yeah, interesting. Let's move on to the housemates. Ben Norris, who was just your favourite housemate?
I really like Ian. I think that Ian, to me, I actually felt a bit teary. I felt a bit teary when they showed that clip of him because Ian kind of reminds me of... He really reminds me of people I'd be friends with. I'm always friends with people a little bit left of centre. And so whilst he has an interesting look, I love his individualism, I guess, if that's a word, I don't know if it is. I just feel like he's a really genuine person. And much like Ben Zabel and some of those iconic players that we always remember, it always is how much they stand out compared to everyone else. And I just love him. I just want to give him a hug. I just want to be his friend. I want to be the tarantula that crawls along his arm.
Okay. Robbo, what about you? Who sold you?
Well, this is the weird thing. Obviously, we're at the end of times. Armageddon is about to happen because I agree with Ben.
Let's ring the
bell. Ian is my favourite character here. There was a moment that happened. Is it with Angela? Is that the sassy lady? Angela?
Yes. Angela.
We're still learning the names. Where he shook her hand and she's like, "You're not a hugger," and he goes, "I didn't know what you wanted," and then she moved on, and I thought, "Piss off, Angela, you rude little bee."
We have that shot. Let's have a look at Ian because I agree. This was one of the funniest moments of the show for my mind. That exchange with Angela. No, this.
Thanks, Amanda. The barrel girl, that is, Ben.
Oh no. Oh, Robbo, I said I had it. I didn't have it, and I made Amanda roll the wrong clip. That's okay.
Kieran, that's
who is
okay.
actually my favourite, I've got to say. Kieran, I think, is a crackerjack of a player. But Ben from Brisbane, who was your favourite?
Well, I texted you during the thing, and I wrote to you. I said, so far I'm really connecting with Ian. So Ian, Ian for the. I would date someone like Ian, actually.
Well, we ring the bell. It's 3-1 on this one.
I really liked. And I really liked her when I first saw her, just because of the aerobics thing, older. But then I don't know. I didn't really see a lot of her in the show. But just to throw another name in, I liked her, but I didn't see a lot. But Ian.
All right, you guys all like Ian. What did we think of Angela? Is she going to be the villain? And if so, will she be a great villain? Robbo, to you first.
Is she... Wait. Is she going to be the villain? She's basically Maleficent without the costume. She's saying she didn't want to get her bag up. She asked poor Sonia Kruger, and we know Sonia's watching.
I couldn't believe she had Sonia doing it.
That's right.
But that's a really good point that you say that. I think, Robbo, that's so interesting that you call her Maleficent, because Maleficent's one of my favourite cartoon villains from the Disney series. And I think that sums Angela up in lots of ways. Is she's a really good PG villain. I think she's also not necessarily aware of the way in which she's being read by people. Like, I just don't think she's putting that on. So that's the type of villain I like to see on a show, is not someone who's not deliberately being nasty or malicious.
Yeah.
More like a Disney villain.
I really agree with you, Ben, there. If she's being real and she's being cast as that particular person, I think it's fantastic. The girl just wants some bloody tea. So, if this was live, the Ben, Rob and Robert show would get a drone and just drop some bloody bushels in there just to help this old girl out.
We
just
so
wants a bloody
would.
cup of tea.
Well, I tell you what, Robbo,
but,
once again, you and I are on the same path, but this time I do believe we've got the clip. Here's Angela wanting some tea.
No tea.
Tea is not part of your basic rations. You will have to earn it in time.
Suck it, Angela.
Tea is basic.
Oh.
Are you kidding me?
Not in Big Brother's house. This is Big Brother's house.
I'm going to have to earn tea.
You will have the opportunity to buy your own tea in due time.
So why do we have milk in the fridge? That's like teasing carrot. You can't tease, what are those animals that eat carrot? It's like teasing a rabbit. You can't dangle a carrot in front of me. And
oh my God.
What are we supposed to do with milk, or honestly?
Porridge.
I don't mind that at all.
From Brisbane, how good is she?
She's terrific, and I love tea, so I feel her pain with that.
Me too.
She had that. Did she say the line that she was from like the Beverly Hills of Kenya or something? There was some line.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
But what I also loved, I loved that
fun.
My house interaction, Ben from Brisbane, like where she was saying it's my house and Big Brother was saying, no, it's my house.
Yes,
this has got a level of humour that the other series didn't have, because they're able to shape it. This is the interesting thing. This is one of the advantages about the way they've shot it. They actually can inject humour into it and play out those moments when they were on the really rough 24-hour turnaround in the old days. They couldn't enjoy those moments. They couldn't make a meal of them. I really liked that element of it. What about you, Ben from Brisbane?
I love the banter. I just love to see the sort of the fire. It sort of reminded me a little bit sort of Tahan from the season that I was on. Just that kind of giving it back to Big Brother. I think the audience really respond to that kind of that cheeky banter. I thought she's terrific to watch.
I couldn't agree more.
But can I ask though?
But Rob,
if I
have to say,
the panel
I will
something?
just jump in. Sorry,
Oh,
I just was going to, Robbo,
Sorry,
I'm
Ben.
so sorry, but I have to pick you both up on something, and the of Ben Zabel in the show, because if you think that's funny, Ben Zabel was so funny in his series, the hilarious Housemates. So the fact that you were saying that humour was missing from the previous series is a mistake.
Not what I said, Ben. That's not what I said. What I said was they were able to make a meal of little moments, whereas the old series had to rely on the big events that happened in the house. So yes, Ben was hilarious. We showed that pool scene at the beginning of the show, and but I don't think. I think in this series that would have been treated differently and interpreted in a funny way as well. That you certainly had your moments, and I'm not arguing that. I'm not saying there wasn't funny moments at all in the old Big Brother. There were hilarious moments, and maybe that was because the show breathed a bit more. It's different funny the way they're doing it here.
Yeah. Oh, you know, like I'm sorry. I went into a little trance. You're absolutely right. I think I must have missed that. No, you did not bore me at all. I just that's the one thing about Big Brother that has to be, and the humor in these shows, and that's the reason why 7 is, you know, winning so many points for me, and that is because the humor is respective of that humor that had been in the former Big Brother. I was scared that we'd miss those. I kid you not. Big Brother's always been my favorite show for those human moments where we genuinely laugh because we relate to it. So, you know, yeah, that's why I was standing up for it. I'm like, come on, you people, you've forgotten.
No, we haven't.
I adore you, Benjamin Norris.
Can I make a quick point? Do we want to see though? What I find really interesting in this episode is that when Angela says she's from the Beverly Hills of Kenya, I then want people to kind of challenge her on that and go, well, what does that mean? What does that mean? Because obviously there's vast amounts of Africa that, you know, sadly are impoverished. So are people going to challenge her more on that? Because she seems to have a very entitled view of the world.
Oh, Robbo.
That someone should have... No. Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought we were discussing the housemate. No. Yeah, fine. No, she's great.
All opinions are welcome. All opinions are welcome.
Let's just go the surface.
Yeah.
No, but don't boys, honestly, don't you think that would be really interesting if some of the housemates or even Big Brother investigated or went into that kind of idea, that's what she's from? But obviously this is the wrong show, and I've got to sign out now.
Oh my God. Isn't it just a throwaway line, a bit of fun?
No, because what she said, it wasn't a throwaway line, and that's because she said, you know, we would sit on a mattress and people would just do things for us. They would, they would vacuum around us. They would do this. They would do that. I don't like getting myself. I've never budgeted before. All I'm saying is this not a great opportunity, because we're seeing this wonderful humor from Big Brother, which we like and we're enjoying. Is this also, I hope, maybe a series, and I don't know if it is, where we get to see some challenges of personalities in there?
But that's always
is that really a bad thing, Rob?
And it happens naturally. You seriously look at it over the years of Big Brother.
Well, you just laughed at me though.
Sorry?
You had a go at me about it.
Well, I just thought the Angela...
Ben, you're wearing a lovely top tonight. You're matching me with the red. I think it's gorgeous. I love it.
I like her, but I've got to keep this on. I'm sweating underneath it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
changing the
schwitzing.
subject. I tell you what, Robbo, let's sort this out in the commercial break, because when we come back, we are going to talk strategy and eviction. And strategy is so important in this version of Big Brother. We'll see you on the other side of this break.
Ben, Rob and Robbo.
Streaming across the globe, Ben Norris, Rob McKnight, and David Robinson.
Ben, Rob and Robbo. News, reviews, entertainment too. It's the Ben, Rob and Robbo. Ben, Rob and Robbo Show. Ben, Rob and Robbo Show.
The Ben, Rob and Robbo Show, Monday to Thursday at 1 p.m, right here on Ticker TV.
And we're back.
We are back. And thank you, Ben. Isn't that my line?
I don't know. I thought it was. I don't know. Do you know what? Today is a very exciting day for me. I've been so excited about Big Brother coming back that I've lost my manners. I apologise, Robert McKnight. To you, my friend.
Big Brother, consider me Big Brother, and you have been warned. You step on my line again, little man. Little man, I don't know what I'm talking about.
This show is wild.
Can we cut this out, or is this live? We'll cut that bit out. It'll be fine. Hey, look, one of the biggest mistakes you can make in the Big Brother house is giving the other housemates a reason to nominate you. Unfortunately for Daniel, he had a target on his back from the get-go. Yes. Alan's not having a bar.
Hello, Alan.
Oh my God, I've never heard snoring like that.
Ben Norris, is that enough reason to get rid of him, a snorer?
No, I used to get the snorers to come and sleep with me because I don't wake up from snoring. So I remember there was a huge contentious issue in the house when I was there about Zoe being a snorer. And I heard them all saying stuff about her the next day. So I moved the beds around and she hopped into bed with me. And she snored for the rest. She snored for another 82 days next to me. And I tell you what, I still believe that the reason why I won that show is because at night time, I love to bitch about people, and Zoe would be like, come over here, and I'd hop into bed and I'd tell her about all these nasty things I thought of the housemates, and she'd try and be like, no, what about this? And she'd sort of change the way in which I saw them, give me some positivity. Had I not been sleeping there, I may have turned into a total snake and never have won the show. So, you know, I think it was a good thing that I, you know, wore the snoring and let them sleep there. I actually just watched that clip, and whilst it's very funny, I do feel bad for him. Like, I don't like anyone being segregated like that, so yeah, I hate the idea of him being asleep.
When you look at that schnoz, and I mean, I've got a big one. If we can go the profile shot here, I've got a very big Jew nose. When you look at that thing, obviously that thing's going to make a bit of noise. When you look at a 747, right, when it's not flying or taking off, you're thinking that's probably going to make a bit of noise. This fella, wonderful hair, wonderful body, beautiful everywhere else. But bloody hell, that schnoz is going to make some noise. And I loved how he said to another housemate, oh, you better not snore. He was flirting, but you better not snore.
Yeah.
Jeez, bloody God almighty. He was a leaf blower.
But I tell you what, Daniel snoring brings us to another new twist in the Big Brother format, and that is strategy. For the first time, we openly heard housemates talking about how to maximize their advantage. And with Daniel snoring, sorry, what's up, Robert?
Oh, no, I coughed. Sorry. I assumed that we'd run out of our decibels here because of Daniel snoring there, but I tried to turn my mic down, and you obviously... Anyway, we're not live, so here we go. In Rob, in 3, 2...
I'll just do a nice little pickup. This is, you know... Well, you know what? Daniel snoring brings us to a new twist in the Big Brother format. If only we were editing it, that would have been seamless. And
is this not live?
It is live. That was the joke.
Live.
Ben,
I thought
Ben, that was the joke. We can't re-edit it because it's live.
Oh, look, no one's ever said anything nice on the review page about me being smart. So look, I've just found out that we're live. Hi, Mum, if you're still awake. Actually, it's past 9 o'clock. My mum's asleep. Anyway, Ben, I love your mum. Ben, is your mum awake watching this?
I don't think she would be watching this. She'll be watching a crime drama on the ABC or something. I don't think she knows how to stream on Facebook. I don't think she knows. She doesn't sort of...
Midsummer Murders are on. Midsummer Murder is, yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't... Well, Miss Fisher or something. She doesn't really follow what I do online. I just tell her later. Yeah.
Sorry, it's a live show. We're going to go back. I've been fired. It's all good.
I want everybody watching this, if you still are, to go back 5 minutes and just imagine we were talking about Daniel snoring because this was such a beautiful segue. Well,
okay,
Daniel snoring... Sorry, Ben? You got to
let
me
Ben
get this out. Well, Daniel snoring brings us to a new twist in the Big Brother format, and that's strategy. For the first time, we openly heard housemates talking about how to maximise their advantage. And with Daniel snoring disrupting the house, Alan was very quick to see if he could work it to his advantage.
Oh, that's not a good start. That's not a good start. We're going to start night one, is it?
This is the best possible scenario because his snoring is going to be an issue. It happened on night 1 and yeah, people are over it. And hey, mate, if the target's on you, I can use that to my advantage because I don't want a target on my back. So I have to play strategic.
Sorry, I feel really bad now.
I mean, you couldn't even write this. Oh my God, you need to go.
Oh, let's be honest here, Robbo. Daniel is actually lucky to be alive. I actually thought at one point Alan was going to smother him with that pillow.
Well, that's what worried me too, Rob, because Alan kept kind of pushing up, and then he dropped the pillow at the feet, then he dropped it near near his head. I think that Alan might be the sleep apnea that all the housemates need to worry about, even if they don't suffer from it. I reckon this is the snake in the grass. This fella here, it's a worry. He was so cranky and so annoyed. But I think that all housemates need to worry about a pillow.
Face, went to walk away and thought, I better not. I'm being filmed by 65 cameras. I better remove the pillow.
So it makes you wonder, though, what would Alan do if there were no cameras? If he was at a campsite with a couple of friends and there's a bit of a snorer, a bit of a honker, as we've seen from Daniel, and that's a big honker. I can't stress it enough. I also love a man with a big nose.
Poor guy.
But
he could very well be
it's a
watching.
worry.
He's not in the house.
Yeah.
Who?
Daniel Gorringe, hi.
The nose or Alan? The nose or Alan?
Oh, God.
Right. So
Daniel
remember when there was meant to be nicknames given to the housemates? I'm going to say Daniel's the honker and Alan is the killer. That's my nicknames for them.
All right.
Boys.
Good chat. You always need to have your wits about you in the Big Brother house, and pissing people off is never a good way to stay in the house. Maybe that's why Laura didn't survive.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, you're fired.
I thought you were reading it, Marisa.
Yeah.
Hello, Laura. You seem to be taking control of the rations situation.
I'm taking control of my hunger situation, and people are jumping on my boat.
Oh, Ben from Brisbane. That's not a smart move, is it?
It's not good. She was fun though. she was fun. I do. Well,
yeah, I liked her.
I think I live vicariously through these people that just kind of, well, they're strong. I'm such a wimp. You know what I mean? I'm quite drawn to these people. But I know when you just said, but was she fun? You mean as though she was strong, but was she entertaining? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I liked her. I would
have been interested to see her progress through this, and that's the same with
Yeah.
anyone who's voted out early, right? Because you don't really
Sure.
get to know them. And what I did find interesting though was how they got annoyed at her wanting to. She said she can make bread. She obviously thought that would be a good strategy to have because she can help out. But what do you mean?
Everyone's making bread in lockdown. That's what we're all doing.
Yes, that's right.
No. What she did was everyone was kind of learning. They were learning the rules, and then she comes along and grabs the foolscape paper, and then looks and goes, "Well, I can do this. I can do that." No, 100%. I agree with the housemates.
Well, we have lived through it. I will say to you, though, that I'll just tell you that two of the strategies that helped me win the show were actually quite similar. And I used to, on the day of nominations, go and hide from the rest of the housemates, and I'd do their washing. So then I was doing their washing and never in the conversation, which meant that people forgot about me. So then people didn't nominate. Think about it. I'm just going to say to Rob and Robbo very briefly here, how annoying am I working with me 4 to 5 days a week? Very annoying. But imagine if I wasn't there for one day, would you forget how annoying I was?
It's funny you say that. You were not on the Ben, Rob and Robbo show today, and Robbo and I actually had a phone call and we said, I wasn't the same without Ben. We missed him. And yet...
And that's right.
And that's tomorrow we'll be like, bloody Ben!
Look, I can tell you that I would have been nominated every day of the week had I stayed in the conversation every day. But I made sure I was missing. And the day of nominations, I made the bread, I did their washing, and I was never involved in any conversations or conflict. And that managed to help quite immensely.
So Ben, I need to ask you a question. What we saw here was Lincoln, who was very much playing the game. He was facing people off each other. Do you think that was a smart way to go? Because I was watching him, I was like, oh my goodness, like that's either genius or idiocy. You've both been in a house before, different houses, of course, but what did you think of that kind of blatant game playing?
It was kind of go hard or go home. You know,
Yeah, right.
It's not something. It's not something that I don't have that personality, but I kind of respect the guts of it. You know, it's gutsy. I don't know whether it'll pay off.
Look, I think this is the one thing about Big Brother, though, is, and you have to remember this, is if strategy is not authentic to you, it will not work for you. If strategy is something a part of your personality, it'll work. So if I'm not the nicest person, and I'm quite polarizing, but I never dumbed myself down, and I never tried to be something that I wasn't. So sometimes I was bad, and I was very bad, and sometimes I was good, and I was very good. And I think that the public had respect for that. If I'd been faking it, had I been doing something unauthentic, I think I wouldn't have got to where I got to.
It's interesting, though. It's a different strategy because now you're not playing to the audience at home. You're playing to the people in the house. With the final payoff, the viewers at home have to vote for you. And seriously, I think the master strategist here is Alan. Here he is talking about his favourite topic once again, strategy.
Okay, well, you're fired.
I thought you were really...
Okay, well, you're fired.
Is he
We're
fired?
obviously having a problem. We've got the no, now.
You're fired.
Okay, well, you're fired.
What I will say, Rob, while we're just dealing with that, that's all right. While we're dealing with that, I don't know if I'm jumping ahead here, but what I found really interesting on this situation of Big Brother, or this series, was that the person who wins the immunity challenge then gets to nominate everyone, and everyone knows that she's nominated those people. Ben from Brisbane, first to you. That's a bit different to both you and the other Ben series, where we didn't know who was nominated, but this time we've got a single person saying, "I've nominated you three." How would that change the mood in the house?
Oh God! Well, I'd fall apart. There was a couple of times in the series that I was on that, with certain challenges, a person then won the power to nominate someone, and I was put up for eviction, and I knew who nominated me.
How does that affect the house?
Who was it? Who was it? Spill the tea, Ben. Who was that?
Oh well, you can watch it in the show. It was Jade. She put me up, and it sort of paid off well because she ended up coming second in the series, so it did really well. But do you know, I couldn't look at her because she was so nice to me in the house. And then she said to me afterwards, I nominated you because I know that you'll be safe and you won't get evicted. I didn't want to put up someone who I thought could get evicted and then I'd be to blame. Which I kind of think she believed. I'm not sure. It doesn't really matter now, but it did alter it. I was.
So Ben, just quickly, knowing fully well, so if the three of us are in the house and Robert, because he's the villain here, if Rob was the one and you knew that he had nominated you, Ben and myself, would that change the way that you integrated or worked with him in the house?
I wouldn't be nominating Ben from Brisbane. Let me tell you that right now.
Thank you, ROB McKnight. It is very sweet. I feel like I'm on Hey Hey It's Saturday. I just love this live kind of loose show. It's so fun.
I have been compared to Daryl Summers. I do not know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but I have.
You could be Daryl. You should try and work on like your Logie thing. You know, whenever he won a Logie, he'd go, he had this big mouth, he'd do this thing. I loved it. I used to watch that. It would affect it for me terribly because I take everything personally. It's just not really a good recipe for going in media.
The other thing is, Ben, I've got my mate, Ozzy Ostrich, sitting here, you know.
Ozzy!
Oh, God.
Hello, Daryl.
Dad jokes.
Yes, dad jokes. Can I just say, though, as much as we can talk about Alan, and he talks the talk, but in my opinion, it's Talia who walks the walk when it comes to strategy. Who else could get the people she's actually nominated to start consoling her? Have a look at this.
Yeah. It's okay, honey.
I know you didn't want it for me.
I feel like my dream of being in Big Brother is over.
How amazing was that to run?
Oh, you were good.
Look, and I do apologise. We are having a few audio issues with our desk at the moment. But Ben Norris, that is pure strategy. Put on the waterworks and try to distance yourself from the fact you've nominated these people.
Look, I don't think if you've not been in the Big Brother house, you'll never understand it. The very first time I nominated, I actually had to stop. It was live on television, by the way, and I was so nervous. I felt like I was going to be sick. And I also kept my head up like this to keep the tears inside my eyes. And I'd watched Big Brother for 8 years before I was on, and I used to yell at the screen at people who cried on reality TV. Oh, God, are you putting it on? But I have to just keep that in mind because I think that Talia's tears were quite genuine. I think that she'd been through something exclusive to the house. No one else had been through that process, and she was really emotional. And also, for those other housemates that consoled her, of course they're going to do that. They're already on the chopping block. So they're trying to be the empathetic, and they're trying to show that it doesn't matter. And I think that might be a little bit more game playing than what we saw with her tears.
Oh, very interesting. I tell you what, when it came to eviction time, this was pure Survivor in its finest form. We had everyone talking, Kieran not knowing what's going on, and then people would be huddled and move away, and then everyone thought it was going to be Kieran, and whooshka, it was going to be Laura. And what I loved, the classic words she said moments before, I think we're safe. And she was not, was she, Robbo?
No, she certainly wasn't. But this is what I didn't like about this. I take your point entirely, Benjamin Norris, that we don't understand what will happen in the Big Brother house. However, this is the 12th season of Big Brother. She knows what she's doing. She knows what she's in there for. It's not like she was chucked in there and got, oh, and by the way, you've got to vote people out. Rubbish. She knows what she's doing. I think we've got a little bit of a snake in the grass here, a bit of a silent killer, a silent assassin is what I'm thinking here. And she's like turning on this is all me. Yes, of course it's all you, darling, because you've got to vote people out. And she's sitting there when people had to, it's all me. Tears.
No, they were real tears.
Thank you, Robbo.
Ben, were they real
Crocodile tears?
Ben,
Crocodile tears.
Very tough, Robbo. You're very tough.
Yeah, I'm with you, Ben. I'm with you.
They
were real tears.
And then we saw Laura go. She farewelled the Big Brother house in what was a shock Survivor elimination. Oh, Big Brother elimination. Well, we said this was Survivor in a warehouse, and I've got to say, we've seen some great moments, but Laura leaving was a surprise. Is there anyone here who was, out of everyone there? I got to say, I didn't get to know her enough to worry if she was leaving or not. Ben from Brisbane, what did you think of her?
Well, I mean, I hadn't bonded with her, so I wasn't upset to see her leave. But I just find with people like that, there was probably a lot more that we could have kind of learned. And sometimes when people have that really fiery front, it's because they're just very overwhelmed and scared by the experience. And they tend to play it a little tough. She might have sort of mellowed throughout the series. We might have sort of found another side to her, which then is sort of why I always like the show, because as I texted you, I loved Marissa. Then by the end of that one episode, I was like, and then when it first started, I'm like, oh, Alan. And then by the end of it, I'm like, oh, Alan's great. You know, so people kind of grow on you, and everyone is sort of multifaceted to some extent. So I was sad to see her go in that respect, just because I could have learnt some more. But someone's got to be first, right?
Yeah, I know. And it's really a lottery when you've only spent a short time in the house. We're about to wind up. Let's get the panel's final thoughts on the episode and what we think of the new season of Big Brother. Robbo.
Like I said at the beginning, absolute bloody cracker. The producers, everyone involved has done a great way of rebooting a series that we all thought we knew, but we don't know as much. I think that the first evictee was the right one to go out of everyone. I was worried that we'd lose Lincoln or Zoe, and I think they're more important to the show, but I'm really excited about tomorrow. And this is coming from someone who wasn't that interested in it. But I can't get enough of this. I'm already so excited about tomorrow, and I can't wait to see who wins. It's got to be Ian. He's great. I love those feathers.
Ben Norris, final thoughts.
I absolutely loved it. 5 stars for me. There was only one real complaint, and that was I really missed the theme song. Maybe that's my age because I've been watching it for so many years, and I was like, dinner, 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 dinner. And I actually, what's really funny about me saying that is that Rob McKnight, when we started this podcast, I actually rang you and said, fans are messaging me saying it shouldn't have the Ben, Rob and Robbo theme at the start. We should do the Big Brother theme to make it feel more Big Brother. And interestingly enough, we obviously... Oh, yeah. So, am I allowed to sing it like that? Sure. Anyway, that's my only thing that I would take away from it. And that was the only thing, and I really enjoyed it. I think that they did a great job of modernising something that is very difficult to modernise based on the fan base. I hope that fans continue to watch it and give it a good shot before dismissing it as being something different. You know, I think it's courageous and I think it's fast paced. And whilst that might have turned some people off, give it a few weeks and I think you'll love these housemates. Ben from Brisbane, final thoughts.
Well, I think I said in my season, I love a good twist, right? And actually, I think the network said that, and I just repeated it. But this I was at the pharmacy yesterday, and this guy, I live in Brisbane, obviously, but this guy goes, "I love a good twist," and he yelled it out the window at me, and it was really aggressive. I liked it, but I think this is like a twist on an old favourite. You know, it's the same show, but with a twist, and it is fast. It is fast paced, and it is lean and mean and competitive, and I like it. If you're going to do it again, I think you have to do it different because you can't do it like it was because then it will never be the same because what was has been, true. Right? So this is something that if they were going to redo it, they had to do it like this. And I think the fans will be a little bit standoffish maybe, although I'm reading a lot of great feedback, but I think they'll grow to love it in the coming weeks. I really do.
Yeah, I loved it as well. I've really just been blown away by it today and just can't get enough of it. But congratulations, Channel 7. And from what I'm hearing, the episodes get better and better. Episode 4, apparently, is the cracker, is an absolute cracker. So the first episode of next week, we've got to make sure we're watching this. We've got to make sure we're watching that. And that brings us to the end of this edition of Eye on Big Brother. Ben from Brisbane, thank you for joining us tonight. It's been so awesome.
It's such a thrill to come to from my kitchen and to share some screen time with you all. I stalk all of you. I just adore you. I really do. I'm a big fan. I am. You know it. When I spoke to you, Rob, and I knew who you chat to on the radio in Brisbane, I love media. So it's such a thrill to come say hello. So thanks for having me.
Oh, anytime.
You'll be back
and
again.
I'm sure we'll have to get you back before the series is over, Ben.
Lovely. I look forward to it.
And don't forget, you can watch the live stream at 9:30 after every episode of Big Brother. We'll be right here at 9:30, although we were 10 minutes late today.
Did we not say goodbye to me? Okay, fair enough.
Do you know, Ben?
Did I talk too much?
Ben, we might need to have a chat about how television works because there's some scripting and there's some way things happen, and you might find if you just hold on that little bit longer, they'll get to the point where I say goodbye to you. Yeah, hold your tongue.
Okay.
How
I was
about
just trying to
that?
hold my tongue. You know, look, the best thing about my series of Big Brother is that it was very edited, even like the Channel 7 version. So they made me seem more appealing than I really am. But just before I go, because I like to hijack things, I need to ask Ben Zabel. Ben Zabel, if they do an All-Stars Big Brother, will you come back for the show in this format?
I'll invoice them. But yeah, no, I'd have a go. Yeah, I would. Jen, if you'd asked me straight away, like maybe a few years ago, I may not have. But yeah, I would. I mean, they won't. But
they should.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I've met a few people in the industry, and they say to me because I hesitate, and they say always say yes, Ben. Just say yes. Yeah.
Say no and ask for more money. Yeah, he does that. You know, I work with these two and they do that when they realize that I'm boring and I'm being not good television, but I just get so excited. And Ben, I never get to speak to you, so I've really enjoyed this phone call called Eye on Big Brother.
You've been so sweet to me.
We are not Telstra. Don't have your conversation that should be off air on air. Bloody hell.
Before I go,
Ben,
Rob, thanks so much for having me. I'll be on Kyle and Jackie O at 6:40 in the morning. I just need to put that plug in. And I love you
they
all.
need our help. No, seriously, the Carl and Jackie O need all the plugs from us. There's no doubt about that. Don't forget, you can watch the live stream of the Eye on Big Brother at 9:30 p.m. after every episode of Big Brother, or you can listen to the podcast on your favourite podcast feed. And make sure you're watching the Ben, Rob and Robbo show tomorrow at 1 p.m. when we chat with Laura. That's at 1 p.m. on Ticker TV or BRR Show on Facebook and Twitter. Ben and Robbo, thank you as always for being here. We'll see you tomorrow We'll see you tomorrow for our recap of episode 2. Bye-bye.
Bye.
It's the Ben, Rob and Robbo, Ben, Rob and Robbo show.